I keep trying to kill myself, but something always goes wrong. The world rearranges itself around me, and I wake up to the same small, bad life I'd been trying to leave. Now I call them transactions. I grew up in Englewood, where the city's promises patched over hunger with half-built hopes. I wanted to be a rapper more than anything. Danger was currency. The more you were talked about, the more you were heard. I had the life for the stories, but not the words for the studio. I wanted the voice that matched the chaos of my nights. He found me there. Somewhere between a stage light and a liquor breath, a blur through the crowd. The first time I saw him, I could only remember the shape of him. A man, a smile, the feeling of being recognized. The second time was the blood and broken glass kind of night. We went to collect money from a cheap apartment and left with 2 bodies. I saw him through the window as we stumbled out. He smiled, and something calmed in my chest. The third time, I was in the back of a cruiser for the kind of things that used to get you buried in our neighborhood. Then, the window fogged where he stood, inches away, looking in at me. He didn't speak out loud, but I understood him. He held out his hand. My cuffs unclinked. The cops kept doing paperwork like ghosts. We turned an alley and walked into a dive bar I'd never seen. The room hummed, cheap neon and stale smoke. He told me not to worry. Your car will be in your driveway when you wake up, he said. You have a gift. Use it. I shook his hand. After that, everything that should have gone wrong went right. Studio time fell into our laps. A new engineer emerged from nowhere. The tracks came quick and clean, like somebody else was handing me the lines before I even formed them. My voice stayed mine, but sharper, crueler, truer. The internet ate it. Labels wrote checks. The life I wanted arrived in a rush of flashing cameras and cheap champagne. And he kept returning, always in fragments. A flash at a show, a face in the crowd, when strobe lights made time into slices. Once, in a heartbeat of light, every face in the audience became his one blurred man, thousands of times over. Then, the light snapped, and they were ordinary people again. I couldn't shake that image. It settled under my skin. Success was a slow-acting poison. It bloat-fed my ego and left my hands itchy for the old stories. I kept the streets and the studio both. The man I had become demanded content. The man who touched my shoulder wanted my soul. When the first case came assault, drugs, a murder I had less memory of than rumor, he reappeared through the bars of the holding cell. Tell me I can take Jace, he said. Jace was a kid who followed my crew, wide-eyed and hungry for approval. I said yes without thinking. 2 days later, Jace was dead. An ambulances and heart attack story no one could believe. My charges melted like sugar on a hot skillet. My record wiped clean, as if the paper had never existed. It kept happening. Each time trouble crawled toward me, the man asked for something of mine. A name, a face, a life. I watched friends' names vanish from the payroll of existence like they'd been erased. They died of overdoses, accidents, heart attacks, events that felt like inevitabilities until I realized the pattern. I had given permission. I had been too hungry to refuse. When they asked for me, brother, the last person who'd kept me tethered, almost said no. I almost stood in the way. But fame is a slow chiseler. It carves at the bone. I heard myself say yes. The charges went away. Trey didn't. After Trey, I tried to do what I'd meant to do for years, finish myself. I swallowed enough pills to stop a god. I drove my car at speed into the kind of emptiness I'd been courting. I slashed and bled. Each time the world bent. The poison tasted like apple juice. The road curved into my hallway. The blade was wax. I woke to the same small apartment, the same cheap mattress, the same silence. There's a sound in the quiet now. The man laughing, soft and patient, as if he's amused by my insistence. He takes people like payment. He smiles when I try to punish myself. The deals were never in ink. They were in the parts of me that wanted more than I wanted other people to live. I traded faces for fame and paid with fathers and mothers and brothers until my ledger was empty, but for a single column, my own name. I live alone. My phone is a stone. I watch the city from a window that never gives me a view, and I listen for him in the hiss of the radiator and the traffic beyond. Sometimes I think I see him in strangers, how they tilt ahead, how their mouth curls at nothing. Once in a grocery store aisle, a man reached for the same jar of pickles I did. There was something familiar in the shape of his knuckles. I walked away with the jar and left him there. Later, the store posted a notice. An aspiring poet had died that afternoon, cardiac arrest. It was always like that. I have tried to warn people. I open my mouth and close it. Language feels like a weapon that will summon him back like a bell. So I say the only truth I'm sure of. Don't make deals with men who look like everything you want. He didn't arrive in horns or smoke. He wore that smile because he knows what we want before we do. He bargains in the currency of grief. He makes you a star and then auctions off the people who love you to pay the tab. I can't die. Not really. Not while he still has an invoice in my name. And now he watches from across the coffee shop, across the aisle at the bodega. I see his face in every reflection because the face is a smear that wants company. I have one last confession, and it tastes like cold metal. You might be beautiful to him. He might be looking at you right now, smiling. Even you.